So we are going to discuss neoclassical period in the history of English literature that starts from 1660 when Charles II restored the throne, and it is till 1798 when William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge published lyrical ballads, and that's the official commencement of Romanticism. Okay, so in between these years, 1660 and 1798, there are three ages. So the new classical period has been divided into three ages. The first one is Restoration Age, that is from 1660 to 1700, and this age is also called Age of Dryden. The second one is Augustan Age, that is from 1700 to 1745. That is also called Age of Pope, Alexander Pope. And the third one is Transitional Age, that is from 1745 to 1798, and it is also called Age of Johnson, Dr. Samuel Johnson. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss the first age, Restoration Age, however, only the political perspective of Restoration Age, because each age will be discussed from different perspective, the political perspective, the social and economic perspective. Only then we will come to know about the literature of the time. If you don't know about the environment, the society, the politics, the economy of the age, we will not understand the literature of the time. So we are going to take start from the very first age, that is Restoration Age, which is known as Age of Dryden. Why is it called Restoration and Age of Dryden? These questions will be covered with the passage of time as you move ahead. Okay, so here is the timeline of the initial two lectures. We'll talk about the restoration of the monarchy, and then we'll discuss some of the events such as Anglo-Dutch Wars, Plague in London, that is from 1665 to 66, Great Fire of London, that is in 1666. We also talk about Popish Plot, that is in 1678, and Exclusion Crisis from 1679 to 81. Now, discussing the restoration of the monarchy, the very first question that wanders in our mind, that is, why is it called restoration? So just behind the restoration, there is Caroline time period, in which Charles I was the king. Charles I became king in 1625. However, in the eyes of his student, he was not a good king, because he was spending a lavish lifestyle, a hedonistic lifestyle, and because of his policies, England was passing through certain crisis. It was on the verge of turmoil. So people decided to remove Charles I. So they beheaded Charles I in 1649. Now, when they beheaded Charles I, his son Charles II, he absconded to France. Charles II fled to France because of the precarious situation, because of the unpleasant environment, and the reign of his father ended in 1649. So his father Charles I ruled England from 1625 to 1649. Now, from 1649 till 1659, these 10 years, it was parliamentary system in England. Richard Cromwell and Oliver Cromwell were leading England in these 10 years. And Charles II, he was in France because his father was beheaded, and because of the uncertain condition, he fled to France. Now, in 1660, Charles II came back from France and he restored the monarchy. And because of this, it is called Restoration Age, because Charles II restored the throne of his father Charles I. So Charles II restored the monarchy in 1660, and that is why we called it Restoration Age. Uh, Dryden has written a work about this, that is Austria Redux. Austria Redux means justice restored. So it's a poem which is based on the restoration of the monarchy of Charles II. And you must remember this work, that this particular work is based on the restoration of the monarchy. Now let us talk about certain events that occurred in the Restoration Age. The very first one is Anglo-Dutch Wars, a series of four wars that started in 1652 and ended in 1684. Dryden has written a work about it, that is Dramatic Poesy, in which there are four characters and the setting is Thames River. So you're going to witness the works of Dryden that he is hardly miss even a single event. The second important event of the time is Block that occurred in 1665 and 66. And the third important event of the Restoration Age, that is Great Fire of London that occurred in 1666, in which more than 13,000 buildings burned down. And this year has been declared Devil's Year. However, in the eyes of Dryden, it was the year of miracle and not a devil's year, because for Dryden, after these events, England changed a lot. There occurred some great changes in England. Though it suffered England, however, Dryden were focusing on the consequences, and Dryden thought that there occurred some great changes in England, and that is why he also noted down a poem about the plague and great fire of London, and that is Annus Mirabilis, which means year of miracle. So Dryden had once again noted a poem, Annus Mirabilis, which is about the plague and great fire of London, and Dryden declared it year of miracles because of the great changes in the history of England. Moving ahead, there is another important event, that is Popish Plot that occurred in 1678. Popish Plot, it was anti-Catholic campaign, you can say, led by Titus Oatus, in which he was trying to assassinate Charles II because Charles II was Catholic. So, though some historian declared it a fabricated plot, it was not a real plot. However, yet Titus Oatus then he was the next event is Exclusion Crisis that occurred in 1679 and 81, in which there is a confusion that who is going to be the next king. So it is very interesting that who is going to be the next king after Charles II. And even Dryden has written a work about it, and that is Absalom and Achitophel. One of his poems, Absalom and Achitophel, which is about the exclusion crisis. So in the next video, we are going to talk about exclusion crisis, that who is going to be the next king. So you must go through the next video in order to come to know about the political crisis of England at the Restoration Age.